that the owner of the Lampoon was renting a house with Ludacris, this ridiculous house on the Hollywood Hills. And Marty called me that night, and he was like, I just got my dick sucked by Brooke Bell, and she broke the towel rack in Ludacris's bathroom, and now I'm worried I'm going to get in trouble. I was like, I'm sorry, what? What was any of that?
I would never guess that about him. He seems like such a nice vanilla man.
They're always ones to watch out for.
I know.
Martin,
Wow.
you're talking about Martin?
Marty Dunn. Are we
We're live, baby.
Folks, everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Brian McCarthy. Of course, this is the Brian McCarthy interview show. Oh my God, we have a graphic behind us. Adam's here. We have a guest. There's a table, cords even.
Oh
my God. What's happening here? If you're watching, this could be, Adam, is this YouTube and Facebook?
I'm checking on that.
All right, hold on, everybody. We're going to get into Boris in 1 second. I'm just being literal there, not figurative, of course. Not.
We have fun.
Yeah, we have
so
good
far
time.
we're on.
Easy, holding.
So far we're on Facebook, but I'm
all right, we're working on it, folks. Right now we're on Facebook, so it's anyway. Boris, how do I say your last name?
Hiking, like you're going hiking.
Okay,
hiking.
Was that a fat joke? Boris Hiking. Thank you very much for doing the show. Do you know how I even got you?
Hatem, right?
Well, yes, but through Kurt Metzger. Does that make sense? Do you know who Kurt Metzger is?
Yeah. We've done a couple appearances, I think, on Hatem's podcast.
There you go. So Kurt and I are old friends. So when I was, everybody, if you're watching on Facebook, remember on Monday the 24th, I think it sold out. But at Gotham, Laugh for Sight, Boris is one of the comics who has agreed to donate his time. Thank you for doing this. So funny. You can get people to come to a show for a charity as long as it's dogs. Nobody wants to give any money to people.
Yeah.
They're like, what? It's dogs? Yeah. I'm like, no, it's retarded children and that stepped on landmines. They're like, no. I won't give you a hot penny for that. But you're getting harnesses for seeing eye dogs. Here's everything I have. But no, so Kurt, I reached out to Kurt because I'm not a stand-up. So I mean, I have friends that are, but I was booking this and I wanted new whatever. So I reached out to Kurt because I was talking to him because I sometimes help Kurt with that Kyle Dunnigan show. Right. So I said, look, I know you're in LA. Can you help me? I've got to book one more. I got one more person. So he said, and he reached out to Hatem, who I've never actually met. And he said, this guy Boris is really funny. And so I checked you out. I love your OnlyFans. Boy, you swallow so much cum.
I open up wide, you know.
You really do. You give a nice gape.
Well, it's all for comedy.
You'd be an otter, I guess, in the gay world.
Is that what the word is?
Yeah, I believe you because you're hairy, but you're
not like a bear.
Yeah.
You're slight of build.
Yeah, I'm misleading.
Wait, behind closed doors, you turn from an otter.
I
hulk out.
You're a freak.
That's how I hold all the gallons.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I go from otter to Wolverine in a hot minute. So funny. I go to a Crunch on 50th Street. It shares a wall with Studio 54, the old Studio 54. And it's known as the Gay Crunch, which is kind of redundant. Look at me.
Got glory holes in the wall.
Dude, you think I'm kidding. But if they could, God bless them, they would. They do everything they possibly can. But they had a steam room there, and they had to close the steam room down because there was so much hot fucking in the steam room, which makes me laugh because it's already a gay steam room. So that means somebody was too gay for the gay steam room. So there's
always one bad apple.
Yeah, someone's everyone's in there just blowing each other, maybe some hand jobs. Some guy comes in there fisting his own asshole, cutting his nipples. And he's
whoa.
Everyone's
no blood.
Yeah, listen. We're just here trying to suck each other off. And here you come in here pulling anal beads out, licking his own shit off the anal beads. You know,
have to do a double prep dose.
Yeah. Oh, double prep. You know, it's so funny. I know somebody.
Well, if you forget a day, you got to double up the second.
Is that birth control?
I made it that way.
And then just 1 week out of the month where you just have tons of AIDS.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude. You're good.
For 1 week, you're redolent with AIDS. It's just
show a pad up your butt to make sure the AIDS doesn't.
People look at you, they're like,
seep out.
What's wrong with you? You're shimmering. You're like, I know, I'm just full of AIDS. I gotta. This is my AIDS
Don't
week.
talk to me while I'm on my AIDS.
I'm a bear when I'm on my AIDS.
I tell you. No, I was just talking to my friend, and she was telling me that a friend of hers just got HIV, and he is on PrEP.
Yeah.
But he just got it. I don't know. It got one through the wood. One got in the wood pile. So,
They said the vaccine works. You can't believe anything these people tell you.
well, it's funny because now, for those of you who are listening who are homosexual, who are going to heaven, PrEP is a morning after pill.
Homosexual or don't live in New York City where there's ads for PrEP everywhere.
Right,
dude.
Exactly.
There's a place that you can get shot up with PrEP 20 feet from my front door.
Wow.
Just so you guys know.
You live in the weirdest part of Queens.
Yeah. I think it's like a center. It's like an LGBT center. There's literally, there will be a sandwich board out front that just says free,
Yummy.
free AIDS tests.
Oh, wow. And it's like, you get a sandwich with it?
Yeah.
Is it a sandwich of
sure.
AIDS?
I like a nice provolone.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Sir, could you mind not coughing on my sandwich, please? Sir, it has AIDS.
Right.
Your sandwich has AIDS. Adam lives in where the fuck do you live? In
Queens,
Sunnyside
Woodside,
or Woodside?
Queens, yeah.
No, but he's every time we see each other
dude.
4 times a month, and every time he's like, "Yeah, there's a street in my neighborhood where it's just hand job Asian girls that hang out on the street."
It's gotten worse. I gotta
They got
send you
raided a bunch
pictures.
of times, didn't they?
I think they just don't even give a fuck
Yeah,
anymore.
it's like a hydra. You cut one head off and 2 more.
At this
Right.
point, there are where when I walk to the grocery store, there's only one in my neighborhood. But if you go further into Jackson Heights, Queens, there's a ton of them. But there's literally 8 women.
So
just
hold on,
like
if I may,
dressed,
as you're walking into the other part of it's full of Colombian transgendered prostitutes.
yes.
When you're walking to the Hispanic transgendered, sorry,
Queens is so diverse.
it really
Oh,
is.
it is. It's what makes it
Every
so.
type of prostitute.
It's
you
a
can
melting
imagine.
pot. Yeah,
A melting pot.
No, I think
hookers.
there's no cisgender female prostitutes. I think it's all trans.
God. Ugh. You
Yeah.
imagine?
Yeah.
Not getting blown by somebody with a vagina. Ugh.
They're lazy. You know, they put in no work to be in a woman.
Yeah.
I don't understand how
So
it works.
hold
now.
on, I've cut
They
you
never
off.
had one.
So we're walking.
So when I walked to the there's one grocery store where there's no you can't get a hand job on the way to. But the other grocery
what's
store
that called? Borden Street?
I believe it's the C-Town. It's gotten fucking
Virgin
ridiculous
Alley.
because they used to be at a place where it was like they at least pretended to be like a defunct chiropractor.
Right.
So it's kind of like massage. Now it's just like this place that's
The C
just a
stands for
nondescript door. Like it's just a door, and there will be 8 women. They're all pretty attractive.
All
I'll
right.
say that.
Okay.
Different, ranging in age, and they're all just kind of just like business casual.
Sure.
And they're
A
just
nice
hanging out.
pantsuit.
Yeah, and if I walk by with my girlfriend, they don't pay me no mind.
They're
But if I walk by myself,
no.
it is game on. They will come out. If it's at night, you can't even walk on that side of the street.
Soldier boy.
If you're just kicking tires, you can't walk on that side of the street. You got to be ready to buy.
I just pick like I've never been to New Orleans, but I picture it's like you walk. There's like women hanging off like balconies and stuff. Like
No, I've been to New Orleans a ton. I went to a strip club once in New Orleans.
Go
and
ahead.
It is a sad sight. It was like a girl doped out on heroin on a mattress, like barely struggling.
is that bad? I'm sorry. Is that bad? I'm sorry. I'm not.
Not a lot of energy in that stripper, you know.
Have you been to New Orleans a lot?
I have a good friend that moved out there. There used to be a comedy festival there that they're trying to bring back, I
Yeah.
guess, but it was a good time. The
Okay.
Hell Yes Fest. There was a comedy scene that was booming there at one point. They were giving a lot of tax breaks to film there. So people started filming there, and people would drop by the clubs, and it started booming. And then they got rid of the tax breaks, and it all kind of started drying up.
I love the idea of New Orleans comedy. It's like, don't you hate when your beignets?
Why
in
is your New
hand?
Orleans accent?
Yeah,
so
I
right.
just realized
It's Caribbean.
I started off fucking. I fucked up. I
It's
know.
welcome to New
Don't-
Orleans,
yeah.
Bumba Clyde.
Don't you
Top of the
hate
night word.
when you have your jambalaya? Right. Yeah, I know. All right.
Your
I'm not
Boris, the Boris K on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
it's
the
a
one.
plug.
Oh,
I
perfect.
just tagged you on the thing.
Nice.
You know what's nice about
read.
I know we just met each other, but what I like is that you're a homeowner, and we can talk about things like you know, renovations, and sometimes we have real guys in here that came off of the short bus, you know.
Right.
They come in, we give them that croissant, they go, "Can I eat this or take some home for my girlfriend?" You know, okay.
Stuff my backpack with your belongings.
Right. Well, you actually are you a builder as well?
I'm
have a
not
background.
I'm not a builder,
Okay.
but I doing the stuff that I do with my brother. I've like done a kitchen. I've like
Oh,
had to hire people.
Sure.
So and also like, you know, I just grew up not like some of my friends in New York that are like, you
Right.
know, housing should be free. Also, I don't know how a toilet works.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, my towel rack is wiggly. So
Right.
when you come over,
I've
can you
been calling my
That's what I
landlord
get
for 2 years.
when I like go to someone's house warming. They go, hey, also, can you take a look at this? Like I have to fix things.
I
around the house.
do that. I changed my friend's sink actually not long ago.
Oh,
Or his faucet. Sorry.
wow.
Shout out to Simon on my building, who I just paid $50 to change two.
Well, you're also a blind man too.
Well,
so you
I don't
can-
have visions of mass.
We'd be doing projects.
Should have
if
had
you
him
could
do
see.
3 light bulbs.
I should. Well, that would be $75. I'm not made of money, man.
Right.
I mean, it's $25 a light bulb. It's a lot.
Does he
but-
provide light bulb? You provide
I
light bulb.
can get them.
That's labor. Good
Yeah.
lord. Did you put in LEDs at least?
Whatever those are. They're lights.
Those are probably LEDs.
yeah. And
Well,
those,
those are cans. Those are a
Yeah.
little more of a pain. in
that's
the
what I'm
ass.
saying. You got to get up there. You have to have a ladder, and you're up there all
Oh,
day.
you're talking recess.
Oh, yeah, you need
That's,
some
yeah.
that's real.
you need some rebar.
Oh.
Not
yeah.
need
Wow.
rebar.
Wow, for recess
Yeah.
light, that is heavy duty.
Yeah, you need. Yeah, you
Those
need.
are, those are
hire-
attached to
gotta
the
hire-
foundation.
hire
know,
an Ecuadorian.
I say measure twice, cut once.
Uh-huh.
So now, Boris, let's get into Boris.
Let us.
All right. Now you seem like a smart guy, which I can again appreciate because we're learned men ourselves. So you are from the Ukraine. You're not from Ukraine. You're from Ukraine originally.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask. I don't want to make a whole thing about Ukraine. I mean, it's whatever that is. But I watch the news. Okay.
Right. So
but-
you're full of lies from the main.
yeah, the lamestream media.
We're
Yeah.
big little Zelensky head.
Let me just pump some.
Big.
So Putin is rescuing the unions that
from the
are,
Nazis.
Okay, there. All right, I
It
think
all
we're done.
checks out.
All right, good. Do your plugs, and we can all get out of here.
There we go.
What is the difference linguistically
Yeah.
between Ukrainian and
And
Russian?
Russian.
Is it a dialect or is it a real? Is it just go ahead? You have the floor.
The closest I would say is like maybe Spanish and Portuguese.
That's a good
something
analogy.
like that.
Ooh,
Because or
interesting.
even it's about similar to the difference between Russian and Polish. Like maybe Polish is a little bit of a bigger difference, but I speak Russian fluently because I'm from Odessa, and kind of Odessa's like on the Black Sea. It's
Sure.
kind of like south central Ukraine.
Yep. Yeah. What's up?
Uh-huh.
Today was a good
And
day.
so like you go further east of that and it's a lot of Russian speaking people. You go further west of that, it's a lot of Ukrainian speaking
see.
people. When we were leaving, they were literally voting on whether this is Ukraine or not. We care less. And again, we left as refugees from Ukraine, but it's kind of divided geographically, which side speaks what. Also,
Okay.
a lot of the older generation speaks Ukrainian and like has
Russian,
speaks Russian.
and they maybe have been indoctrinated with.
Well, not indoctrinated. When it was Soviet Union, which is when I was there,
right.
you could be shipped anywhere, so like you could go to school in one place and they need workers in a completely different place. So there was a lot of like people being originally from Ukraine, but being sent to Moldova for studies and then being sent to like Latvia.
Wait,
or some
who's
shit.
they? Who sent like the government?
Yeah, Politburo types,
Okay. So how would they know that you take like a test and you can go, oh, this guy's good at X, Y, and Z. We need that skill set.
Sort of, but it also isn't the way you're wording it implies like competence and
Oh,
stuff. And
okay.
so a lot of it is based on like arbitrary like quota requirements for certain things. There were quotas on Jews as far as like you couldn't have too many Jews in a particular school or in a particular
Oh,
field. And
alright.
that was part of the reason why we left. We came technically as Jewish refugees.
You were too many Jews.
Always is the case.
For only 7 million globally. There's always too many of them. It's just-
Somehow
it's always like
we make our presence known.
you really do. With your big noses and your Christ killing.
You can't miss it.
No, you really can't. But so you're 7 years old with your mom and your dad
and my brother. Yeah.
and your brother, and you wanted to. They were like, we need to leave Odessa. Why?
Well, for starters, they could leave at that point. They couldn't leave prior
This
to
is
that.
during Glasnost.
During what?
Glasnost. Am I saying that right?
Mm,
Glasnost. The fucking what's his name? What's the thing on
Gorbachev?
his- Yeah.
Gorbachev.
Was it Glasnost? Boris Yeltsin when he when they started to relax all the rules.
You're talking
Mm.
about like what was it, perestroika, which is like
Yes.
it was during Gorbachev, like
Okay.
the mid to late
The
80s.
falling out of the Iron Curtain.
Yeah, when they started, like he already started reforming a lot of stuff where like, you could just speak a little bit more freely. There
Right.
were still like we had Grandpa Lenin is how you'd refer to him in my elementary school. We would
Wow.
like speak reverently about him. And like, I got in trouble. I remember like, cause at my dad's work, he took me and I like repeated something they said at home about whatever. And they like took me aside and brought me back to, actually that was about Lenin, I think. But, and I also have seen Lenin's dead body, not to brag.
Wow. Yeah. Look at you. It's really funny to imagine you could be in 2nd grade and you're a Trotskyite. So you get in trouble.
Yeah.
It sounds very intellectual.
Yeah,
like,
still pushing the Mensheviks in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. He likes the White Army. Ugh. So, all right. So you could leave. Your family could leave. And because you're Jewish and because you're technically refugees because you're from the USSR, there was a process where you could move to the US.
Sort of. So the way it happened for us, and it worked kind of pretty different. A lot of people I know went through Italy, like they had to fly to like Moscow to Italy to get out. We basically, once you're leaving, you basically quit your job because your job is for the government. So you're at that point a traitor essentially.
Okay.
So my parents had, what happened was they changed the chain migration rules in America. It was what's his name? Fuck, I'm blanking.
Tom Sick.
I forget the guy's
Tom
name.
Skerritt.
Basically, we were gonna move here, then we couldn't, and then my mom became pregnant with my brother and wanted to have him in Ukraine just because my grandma was a pediatric doctor there, and like she felt safe doing it where she was comfortable. And during that time,
but if you're they've already quit their jobs, so I know if it's a little muddy. It's a long time ago.
Muddy. I was 7 years old, but
sure.
like. Essentially, I remember they were very proud that I kept it a secret that we were leaving and didn't tell anybody.
Oh.
And then once I don't know that they quit their jobs yet.
Okay.
But once you quit, you're basically like denouncing your citizenship.
Okay. So.
And we were at one point going to move to Israel because we couldn't. Frank Lautenberg, so it was the chief of the migration at the time, and made it pretty difficult, and found another. Basically through my grandma's new husband, whose other daughter was already living here. Jesus. And so it was like a real, infestation of us coming in.
Frank Lautenberg was in the first Bush administration.
It was something, again, this is all very
I
muddy
understand.
for me.
Okay.
I just remember his name being the one that they cursed at home.
Lautenberg.
Yeah.
Right. Lautenberg fucking asshole. Lautenberg. Yeah. So you leave there. And you end up in Edison, New Jersey. Was there a support system for your family when you arrived? Did you already have friends or relatives here, or where?
Yeah. So my uncle moved here 2 years before we did to Brooklyn, and so we knew them. And
let me guess, Bright Beach?
No, Bensonhurst.
Oh,
yeah, but close. Close.
Right.
I mean, a lot of them in Brighton. As long as there's a net cost nearby, we're happy. It's a Russian grocer.
Okay.
There's one in Queens. It's the one I go to usually.
We like.
Is it in a story or no? Where is it?
It's like
I walked by that before.
Maybe Forest Hills. I'm not. I forget.
Yeah, there's a lot of Russian Jews in Forest Hills.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah, bunch of them.
Yeah, I like a Banya. I like Mermaid out in. Yeah, shout out to my boys.
Oh yeah, I go to Spa 88 sometimes on Fulton.
Okay, yeah,
that's the I would say it's the best one in the city, and stayed open for all of COVID.
Really?
Nice. Not only did they stay open, I went maybe like 3 months in. I didn't like right away in the heat of it, but my buddy had his birthday there, and so I'm like, fuck it, I'm going. And these dudes were like fucking coughing behind the counter, like they didn't even like pretend to give a shit.
Dropping dead, right?
Yeah,
just it's really funny. All the hittings of the plazas they're like, hey, you beat yourself with this thing that will leave your body.
Yeah.
So your uncle's here 2 years ahead of time.
Yeah.
So he set up and he's a contractor. Do I have that right?
Yeah. No, but he didn't like. I mean, we just knew them as far as like. I couldn't even speak to exactly how they may or may not have helped us. I know primarily we got we lived in like a project housing complex in Edison. That apartment we got with the help of like, I think a Jewish organization, because when we first came here, I went to Hebrew school for like 3 weeks, and it was my parents like doing it as a gesture, basically, as like, you helped us. Thank you. Here's our child. Oh, all right. Excuse me. Good. Here's our child. And I lasted about 3, because my parents weren't religious either. Religion was illegal to practice there. So none of us culturally came up religious. My one grandma babysat for like a rabbi at one point and turned religious out of nowhere. But the rest of us didn't follow any religion, but we got help because we came as Jewish refugees. And by the way, that's also like document wise, if you live in the USSR, your passport would say like, Ukraine or Moldova or like what region you were from.
Right.
But if you're a Jew, it just says Jew, no matter what region you're from.
Really?
Yeah.
Jew. They just have a stamp.
That's exactly what it is.
JW.
Yeah, and you're lucky it's not on your skin.
Wow.
Which is which is interesting to me because I don't think of Russians as being anti-Semitic.
Well, there's no place in the world that's not anti-Semitic.
Well, okay, sure, but then also
half
I guess
Jews are anti-Semitic.
yeah, nobody hates a Jew more than a Jew. Is what Henry Miller said.
I think the expression was an anti-Semite is someone who hates Jews more than necessary.
Oh wow, that's good. I can remember that for Purim. But I think also, I mean, I know we're good all over the place here, but one of the original migration of Eastern European Jews was because of the pogroms and the Cossacks that were going into the shtetls and
the farms. And
yeah,
stuff,
exactly, all that kind of stuff. So, all right, well, maybe I'm full of shit. So anyway, so you're over here now. You're pretending to be religious. Your parents are here. What kind of work did your parents have when they got here?
So they were both engineers in Ukraine.
Right.
My dad got a job fixing like camcorders and VCRs and stuff like that at a place that was like first.
Did they speak
like
English?
HR, audio, video. No, not much. They spoke some. They took some classes, but it was actually British English classes that they had.
Hello.
So, yeah. So they they just certain vocabulary like didn't quite transfer, but otherwise like. I spoke no English when we first came here. I spoke a little bit. They still speak broken English, but my mom, I think, got a job like painting jewelry or something. She was like with microcircuits, was an engineer in Ukraine, but she got kind of like whatever bullshit job. My dad got that job, and my mom eventually went to school for computer. Literally 80% of Russian immigrants go to school here and became computer programmers, and they did just that.
But did she show up with an infant because you're of your brother?
Yeah. So, my brother was like not even one, I think.
Okay. So she showed up with this little baby. And what about, did you ever see your grandmom again or anybody?
Well, so my one grandma and grandpa came with us because we really came through that because it was thanks to them that we were able to come here. And on the other side, my other grandma and grandpa moved probably 3 years later, 3 years after us or 4 years after us. And that was a whole thing because my grandpa, who passed away now, but he was like kind of a believer in the Communist Party. They like almost like it was only when he came here when it was like, oh, I see, that was all bullshit.
Not weird. You give your whole life towards something and you
yeah.
I mean, I'm a real nihilist on a good day anyway. I mean, I think it's all nonsense, but yeah, you show up and you're like, wow, this entire system that I basically
grocery store with stuff in it.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Moscow on the Hudson?
Yeah, with Robin Williams.
Yeah, the Robin Williams, right? When he goes into the, they send him to go get coffee, and he goes and he sees all the coffee, and he passes out in the grocery store.
Yeah,
that's good. That was funny because you ever seen the movie?
No, but this is the second time it's come up in this month, I think.
Yeah, we did some. I'm a big fan of Robin Williams.
Moscow on the Hudson.
As long as
that's our pick.
As long as Robin Williams isn't doing comedy, I like it.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So but
stop that man from riffing.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, I mean, I guess he's eternally been stopped from riffing.
Him from riffing. Riffing in his grave.
Eternal herald.
I always wonder, like, the way he killed himself. He hung himself from a doorknob, like with a belt.
Like he was hanging on the floor.
Yeah, that's kind of how you do it. That's how a lot of people. I don't know, like you must be really despondent, but like
he's also older, it's maybe a little easier to kill himself at that point.
I think you're really worried about your knees when you're going to kill yourself. He's
like,
this is going to kill me tomorrow.
I don't think I could kill myself off the door. Like I think I would just hang.
Doesn't your
too much of my body would be supported.
Kick in and like if you can stand, won't you?
You think if your instinct to live doesn't kick in, then
right,
maybe the others have
I think there's probably some crazy drugs involved too.
It's possible.
You just made yourself go limp. Yeah, because how do you do that on a door?
There's a definite way to do it because there's lots of people that have done it. Let's try it. Do we have a door? Does anyone have a door here? No, but you make the belt loop around your neck, and then somehow by like I guess maybe throwing your head towards the ground, you fucking snap. I don't know. It seems like
Are you choking yourself out or are you snapping your neck?
I think it's a delightful combination of the. I think it's like because whenever you hang yourself, you break your neck, right?
And shit your pants, right? Isn't it
I think eventually everybody shits their pants, right?
Yeah.
When you're dead. I mean, when you're.
I would shit my pants first and then kill myself.
Well, if somebody's
cleaned out,
to know that I did it.
if somebody's hanging you, you would probably shit your pants. You know what I mean? Like if you're on some sort of gallows,
Right,
and
like you're scared.
then yeah, you're scared. But if I'm hanging myself,
Also, just to make it more, if you're gonna kill me, like I'm gonna make it a bit of a cleanup job for you. You know?
I'm gonna do as much as I can.
I'm gonna shit my pants beforehand and like smear it everywhere.
Yeah, I'm trying to rip my nipples off and stuff. Or just,
good luck using this noose for the next guy.
Yeah. I'm trying to like force my organs to expire so they can't use them again. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get you guys.
Did you guys hear about the lady that went to the Dominican Republic to get a BBL?
I did, and her kidney was taken.
And her kidney was taken.
Oh
like she was under getting. Oh, whoops! I think Siri kicked in. But yeah, and so that's the thing you got to worry about now.
So she went to the DR to get a Brazilian butt lift.
To get the BBL.
Yeah, if you're someone who does that, it's a thing you got to worry about now.
Right. To save $2,500 and cost her a kidney.
So what did she just like woke up in ice?
Well, she woke up and went home. She was fine, and then went to the doctor.
They
got like sonograms or something.
Oh, I guess she went to the.
Now they're long gone at that point.
She went to the doctor and was like, "I feel funny." And they were like,
he's like, number one, you have a great ass.
They did, yeah,
I don't know how I feel, but you look amazeballs.
Tingly from everybody
So
staring.
Did she get the work done on her ass?
Got the work done on her ass.
Okay,
but while she was on, yeah. Oh no, listen, there's a bright side to this. Yeah, she's got a great ass.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
But then went to the doctor because she fell off or whatever, and they did her blood work, and they're like, "Do you just have one kidney?" And she was like, "Well, I should have both of them."
Yeah. She's like, how many am I supposed to have?
Where your kidney should be is another great ass.
Yeah, right.
They put her kidney in her ass. Right. What if they did that? Right. They took her kidney and stuck it in her ass.
Maybe there's just so much ass they couldn't tell.
They're like, well, put the kidney in there too.
But the funny thing was then when they were talking about tracking the person down, they were like, the doctor disappeared, and the person who apparently recommended the doctor through Instagram, he disappeared. So this is a thing you got to watch out for. Get your BBLs domestic.
One of those things they're like,
that's part of the Biden infrastructure.
Yeah, you got to keep it in America.
Yeah, they're like, okay, if anybody sees a guy with dark hair and a mustache, who likes reggaeton
and fat ass,
who's carrying around a kidney in a cooler,
that's out of a basement apartment.
Okay, here's my thing. That's a lot of work to go. How much can you sell a kidney for? How much is a kidney even worth? Or
probably quite a bit. If you really need a kidney,
a healthy white kidney. Are kidneys?
Well, I doubt she was white, but yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Just
it seems like a dumb white lady thing to do to be like, I'm doing a what do they call that?
If she's Dominican, she would have been in Dominican Republic in the first place. Or no, I guess it's possible.
Maybe she'd be smart enough. If you're Dominican,
right, you might be more savvy to the dangers of that.
Yeah, and you want to definitely get a reference from somebody, not just on social, not
that
someone
an innocent white
not
girl
a burner account. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Or you go to China and just use like a murdered Uyghur kidney.
Right. But I guess if you're a wealthy person and you don't want to,
you're looking for an ass.
No, I'm talking about the person looking for a kidney. You got to be on a list. I don't know what it's like in the Caribbean, but
there's definitely
it takes a while.
I can't imagine that. I don't know what I can imagine, but I would imagine you can't lose, or there has to be a buyer already. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't just take somebody's kidney and just put it like in a freezer and wait to see and be like, anybody need a kidney? I have a kidney. There has to be like a buyer somewhere
within a certain period of time.
That kidney's gonna fucking turn into sweetbreads at a certain point. You know what I mean?
They probably organize it.
Yeah, organize it, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, that was on purpose.
Yeah, but I wonder, but it seems to me like it's such a long way to go because there are women and probably guys. I mean, gays, am I right, anybody? Where they make these like cosmetic surgery vacations.
Oh yeah, that's like a big thing.
Yeah, you go down to I guess it's
Thailand.
Sure.
Yeah, Thailand. You imagine, God. Yeah, but you go there. And
I guess that's more than cosmetic.
Yeah, right. I got a nose job and I fucked a bunch of lady boys. Best Memorial Day ever.
That's where they do a lot of the gender reassignment surgeries. They do like most in Thailand, right?
Right?
That's what I heard.
So, I don't know. I mean, sure.
Come on, we all know.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they've perfected it. They do the best ones.
Well, okay.
If you do more of them, you're gonna be better.
Sure.
Right?
It's much easier to make someone who's small and not a lot of hair on their body and lithesome and very fuckable, even with a dick. Am I right, guys?
I mean, I think I always say the Latinos and Asians make the best. Blacks too.
Some
trans.
yeah, blacks.
Listen, if anybody knows, it's me. I'm
Yeah.
hanging out under the 7 train.
I know. Adam only likes like heavy.
Well, I just
have you said black women?
I mean, no, that's not inaccurate.
No, it's not.
Oh, it is because that's what like Heavy said Latino women too.
It's funny. I would love to see.
How do you feel
Yeah.
about heavyset white women?
No.
Yeah,
Not for him. He's from Minnesota.
Take a hike.
Well, that's the thing with certain races that the weight distributes more. I actually not heavy set. I just like lots of tits and ass.
Yeah, you do. But you don't like fat arms.
No, I would prefer not to. No.
Yeah, but
like sometimes you can't have. You know, what are you gonna?
Yeah, in a pinch,
you
I probably would.
Trying to weird science yourself a girlfriend here, or are we trying to be realistic?
Right.
You know, but a lot of white girls will have those big bat wing arms. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody wears it differently. There's white girls who's got
Mhm.
bodies that hold it well.
Isn't
Yeah.
it amazing that like tits are so out right now? Like nobody cares about tits. Like it's been the ass has been having a
Tits
moment.
are very 80s, yeah.
Yeah, but like they've
Yeah,
been
tits are important though. Maybe not to you guys. I think tits are very important.
but I'm saying like in our culture, like you don't even see like even the porn I watch, you don't really even see titty fucking anymore. Like you don't, which I'm
gotta
fine with
Keywords
because you get a lot of
See whatever you need. Like,
But I mean, in the context of a sex scene,
like what's popular.
it's a lot of. It's always the ass has been having a moment for like 15 years now.
It's true. Yeah.
So it's just wild to me that different body parts, but there's only so many body parts that can have a moment. It's been tits forever. Like,
right. When's the taint gonna get a turn?
oh, and you can get your taint bleached.
Taint.
Yeah, I got my taint bleached at the Dominican Republic, and they took my. And they stole
No
my heart.
spleen, this guy.
Yeah,
And your kidney.
Can you imagine? Now, let me ask you a question. Have you been back to Odessa?
Yes.
What's it like?
Well, I went back 14 years ago.
Okay, so
something
you were
like that.
22 or something.
Yeah. No, I was an adult. I saw where I grew up, like the Soviet housing where we were, stuff like that. I'm from it's a nice beach town. There's it's called Arcadia. It's like a big strip with like nightclubs. And,
Okay.
like, all this shit going on. I'm from like not right on that beach. Like it's called an oblast, which is like kind of like a suburb of a city.
And this is what, like 500,000 people?
I actually have no idea what the
Something like
population
that.
is.
Let's just say it. I don't know, 1 million people probably.
Sure.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
All right.
Because Ukraine is about
That's
60 million people. I
I'm
think.
also not sure.
I think I'm right about that.
I think the number is dropping as we watch.
I think, yeah, we want like that debt clock they have in Times Square. You're like,
exactly.
oh,
60 million,
yeah,
55
60
million,
million.
50
get 54.
million.
Oh no, there goes Ivan. Ah,
Price
shit.
is Right rules on
Yeah.
That's his population.
Now you're married, but your wife is not
Not
Ukrainian, right? So, and how did you meet her?
online.
Okay, no kidding. Everyone, that's how you do it. How, like what like which one?
It was
Hinge?
No, it was actually Coffee Meets Bagel.
Oh,
What?
She's the first person, the first and only person that I went on a date with from there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Met his bagel.
All right,
Yeah.
I want to hear this, but what's the population of Odessa?
Oh, just under 1 million.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
When in doubt, just go for 1 million.
That's pretty good.
Cleveland.
Good guess.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Coffee Meets Bagel. Do you know that one?
I've heard of it.
So what's the thing behind that? Like, is it
I
just?
don't even.
But I'm saying
this
they
is
all have
many
like a
years.
mission statement. Like,
Yeah.
like-
I don't remember. It was many years ago.
Okay, well, was it how many years ago?
7.
So you just decided you were 29, single, you're just fucking around, and you're like, I want to meet somebody. I'm gonna go on Coffee and Bagel.
Just tried it out. Yeah.
But it's the first one you tried
And
out.
it's the first.
And that's the first
one
girl.
on there, Yeah.
Great.
And I think I'd have been on that particular app, also her like maybe second or third or something.
That day, probably. Right. Yeah. And she's just full of coffee. And like
Getting busy.
she's like, if I have one more bagel, I'm gonna throw up.
I gotta
I'm just gonna
piss.
marry this
Last
guy.
one. Yeah.
This is enough. So wow, that's crazy. So you're a very practical fellow. You like went on this first. I mean, it's cute,
It
kind
just
of.
worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how that works out, right? So,
Wow.
did you meet her and did you have coffee and a bagel?
No. We met at a bar that's now closed, and I know it's closed. I'll tell you why. Called Hot Bird, was it? No. It had also in Fort Greene, and it had a dope fire pit. I used to row with people. And I know that they're closed because I proposed to her at a Costco, and she asked me to redo it.
Okay.
And
Wow, retake.
and I was
You
like,
did a retake.
I
I
did
think
a
most women
retake.
love to get proposed to
wait,
by
you
I thought
at a Costco.
there are ideas that romantic.
Was
and-
Costco sentimental location?
yeah,
for you guys, or-
Yeah.
it was like our first joint membership and something together, and like I do fucking love Costco, and
Sure.
and we talked about like the idea that you want to spend your life with somebody that's enjoyable to like grocery shop with and things like that.
Okay.
No,
And so I
don't-
did it.
You're not getting it. You're not
I
getting.
feel
a
like
pass.
you came up with that because they were going to Costco that day. Like that
Well,
was that
What
you,
you were
punched up
sitting
the-
next to like a pallet of barbecue sauce, and
We
you
were in
like,
the produce, the egg section. It's
Okay.
where some of the best deals at Costco are the eggs and the coffee. And
Mm.
anyway, she was overwhelmed with emotion, but also was like, I don't want to tell.
Did you do the one
mom.
knee thing?
I did. I got on a
Okay.
knee. I had my one friend who also had a Costco membership come and videotape. And she was like, and you just go over so I can tell it. My mom,
Sure.
it was that. So I look up the place where we met, permanently closed. I look up the place where we had a
Ooh.
second date, which was the Russian tea room prior to
Yep.
going to see a movie,
Oh.
permanently closed, the one in Williamsburg.
Yeah.
And I think
let me guess, you did it at a BJ. We're gonna go to another big box store, honey. It's like what I got. So this is me. It's my
Sam's
thing.
Club.
we got one of those in the Poconos. The BJ's.
Oh, do they really?
Yep, I got a BJ's
BJ's.
membership
once-
too.
Once you get married, you get more BGs. Am I right?
Yeah,
Okay,
the
yeah,
only
for
ones
sure.
you're
Hey,
getting.
yeah, Jetro. So hold on. So how long did you know her before you proposed to her?
I think 4 years, 5
Oh,
years,
it was like a long time. You weren't like
4 years.
okay. So
No, it wasn't like anything. We lived together already for at least a year at that point.
okay. Okay.
It might have been 3 years.
So
my
ultimately-
timelines are all a little
Nah, it's
scrambled.
whatever. It doesn't matter. After COVID, it's all fucked up.
I got a relative newborn at home too. That'll do it.
Oh, you have a new baby?
I got a 5-month-old
Oh, Mazel
Wow.
Tov. Look
Thank
at you, boy or
Yeah.
girl.
girl,
Okay, what is her name?
Nina.
Nina.
All right.
Okay.
Good name.
Huh, very nice. Well, that's great. You didn't even mention all that. You were
I
so
know. Sometimes you
mm,
just
come in with your
space
laundry
on
we were,
room.
it.
too,
all
we
hot.
were busy talking about wet
Houses.
sauce.
Yeah, it's also
Yeah.
it's a girl. Who cares? It's like it doesn't even really matter. It's like
she's an accessory.
yeah. Until you have a boy child, then it
Then
really.
we'll talk about.
Well,
it.
that's terrific. How's it going? Being a young father, a new father.
It's going good. The first month or so was pretty crazy, and then now she's sleeping 11 hours a night. So that's
11
I know,
hours.
I know.
Ooh.
It's a lot
Yeah.
of Robitussin you're giving that kid.
11.
Fentanyl.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's fentanyl.
Right, yeah. So, and
Wow.
did you guys decide to start a family, or it was just kind of like, oh, what?
No,
what
no. I
happened?
mean, we both knew we wanted kids, and then eventually decided to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you've been doing comedy, obviously. That's why we sort of know each other, at least know each other now through this thing. But like, did you have a job before all this bullshit?
Yeah. Well, I've been doing like different video production stuff for
Okay.
a while. I mostly do a lot of video editing.
Avid?
No, Premiere.
Okay.
Everybody uses Premiere now.
I've never even used Avid. I have friends who like lied about using Avid to get jobs and then learned it on the job.
I feel like
everyone's
Avid's
Premiere.
kind of old school. I use Final Cut, and people are like,
I hear Final Cut's
I'm
good
not a
again.
big-
I started on
Yeah.
Final Cut and then they
Oh.
fucked all their shit up and everybody ditched it for good reason. I did it because I started using After Effects and it's easier
right.
when you can dynamic link with the two. Not to get too in the weeds.
No,
Brian,
let's
you
go.
know, dynamic link, Brian. You know
dynamic
what I'm
link, I
talking
know.
about.
I'm just an avid fan of
I use Avid with Pro Tools is an Avid, so I use that for audio. But,
Yeah.
and people make fun of me too for all
For
the
Pro
young,
Tools?
Who are
Well,
these
Pro Tools
people
is
at making
standard.
fun of
young,
you?
young like producers in their 20s
Oh,
that
What are they using? Logic?
they're like,
Yeah. Pro
no, they
Logic.
use a lot of
Yeah.
it seems like Premiere is the
Ableton.
audio thing, and then Logic or
No, Premiere's
or
video. but-
Audition.
uh,
and I'm like, come on,
Audition
come
is
on,
I use
boys.
Audition for like noise removal and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got to use
Okay.
Audition for noise removal.
well, you got to get
You
the
simply,
waves.
you simply must.
And that's one. Or you an isotope guy?
Yeah, no.
Neither. I
You
don't
need
use
Okay.
either.
Yeah, isotope
all
is
right.
important because you got to magnify it.
Sure, you got. Well, you want to attenuate a
Yeah,
few
it's-
decibels,
Yeah,
right?
there's so many RAMs that your fucking
Oh,
computer screen's gonna
gigahertz.
explode. Gigahertz and everything.
Gigabytes.
A lot of times SSD drives are probably coming
Oh,
to play
yeah.
Right.
at,
Right.
at a critical juncture.
Yeah.
So do you currently video?
Yeah.
Who do you work for? Like projects and stuff? Do you work for like a place?
I freelance, but I do a lot for Condé Nast. I do a lot for their like food brands and stuff like that. I did for a couple years. They got down in this comedy channel called The Internet.
Okay.
You guys know Lou Perez?
Yeah, sure.
You do?
No, I think I do. His
Lou
name's
Per-
not
I know
familiar.
Ferrigno.
He's very funny. You should,
Lou
you should have him on.
Ferrigno. Okay.
He now he works for I forget, but he was the like executive producer and like the main host and writer there.
Okay.
And so I used to write for them. I would edit. I would
Okay.
direct, and I was there for like 2.5 years.
Okay.
Good.
Now, when you say there, do they have like office space?
Yeah, they had a studio in Hoboken.
Okay. And would they make like
Comedy sketches. It's kind
and
of like libertarian leaning.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I think their
hookers
goal,
and drugs? I
yeah,
like
their
their
goal
play.
was to be like a libertarian leaning Daily Show type thing. But we did a lot of stuff that was just funny sketches that wasn't like politically leaning necessarily, and then some stuff that was like more political takes.
Well, the great thing about being a libertarian is like you're just like, yeah, I'm a libertarian.
can
So
shit
what's
on
your
everybody.
platform? Whatever, man.
Right. You have no
It's-
chance of winning.
Yeah,
Shit on
yeah,
everybody.
exactly.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
hookers should have guns and they should have
Oh,
cocaine in high school.
Yeah.
Let's go. And
You get to unite both parties, and then they both
yeah,
hate you equally.
everything's exactly. You just spin a little bit of votes off of both parties,
There
and
you go.
we're never going to win a damn thing. So you were doing video editing for these people, and you're still doing that now. But you mentioned before we did the show that you're like you have all these Airbnbs in the Poconos.
I have a short-term rental business. Yeah.
So what does that mean?
It means I have a couple places with my brother. and we
Right. So
manage
you and your brother
properties.
found a house
Yeah.
in the Poconos somewhere, and you guys were like, "This would be a good idea to invest in this property, fix it up, and Airbnb this thing."
The first one we didn't even really have to fix up that much. We did a couple small things. We set up like a nice like fire pit, set up in the
right.
backyard and
Axe
stuff.
throwing station,
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
beer pong.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. So you bought so you bought a house in the mountains,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And then, but did your brother come to you and I've got this? Yeah.
No, we all kind of individually. We took a vacation there with my parents,
Okay.
and we're thinking about investing in something. And we did a bunch of like analytics research as far as like there's a site called AirDNA that has a lot of like Airbnb analytics research as far as like occupancy rates and like just different data that they like are able to scrub from Airbnb listings. Compared that to the housing market and like prices and stuff like that, and kind of zeroed in on an area based on regulations and based on like other stuff going on there. And then honestly, I bought the first one with a primary residence. Wasn't that much down between us and splitting it with my brother. We were like, worst case, if we're totally wrong about all the analytics here, it's less than our rent to fucking have this vacation house that we could all hang out at.
Okay.
So we kind of played it that way, and then it
Okay.
worked out.
And so you bought the house, so you bought it with the idea to do an Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever, prior to that, were you staying in Airbnbs?
Every once in a while, yeah, either for comedy stuff or vacation or whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and it's successful at this point?
I would say so, yeah.
So you bought another one and another one? How many were we looking at here?
We have 3.
You were 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they all similar in size? Are they like
Fairly similar, yeah.
so how many people could stay in the one?
12 is the occupancy.
Jesus Christ, that's a pretty big house, right? Or at least a lot of beds in one room.
Yeah, technically they're 5-bedroom, but they're not like there's the physical space, and then there's like when they inspect it, the requirements for it to
Right.
be a bedroom.
Okay, so do I go on like VRBO or Airbnb?
Yeah.
And I can find the house.
Yeah.
And then, but here's the thing that I don't, because like my wife's sister lives in North Carolina, and I think she has some properties like this.
I have a buddy with properties in Charleston.
Right. Yes. This
That's
is
South Carolina.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
It's all the same. It's not fucking
Yeah,
believe.
it's Carolina.
Yeah. Okay. But what if like okay? So do you third party like people to clean the place and stuff like that? Like
I have a cleaner, yeah.
okay. So now, have you ever had somebody stay there that's been like a fucking nightmare?
I've got a fucking assload of nightmare stories. Yeah.
Can you
there's
give
no
us a
shit.
good one?
Yeah, actually, I just had a lawsuit against me dismissed.
Ooh.
So I could
Mm.
probably I actually haven't even talked about this, but
Oh, let's-
basically
ooh, hot take.
I had somebody about a year ago now, more than a year ago, there was a Thursday where we closed on our second property and a Friday where we closed on our third property. And that Saturday, I got a phone call from the renters in the first property that the deck had collapsed
Okay.
with them on it. My brother and I rush over there.
Now, you call them
What?
renters. These are the people that are staying in
That
the
are currently
Airbnb.
staying there.
But
And
they're staying there for like
It's a short
a
term.
weekend.
Okay,
Yeah,
a weekend. Okay,
like
okay.
3 days, let's
Okay.
say.
Not a
And
tenant.
they, at that point, they'd already, three of them had gone to the hospital. The worst that happened was the birthday girl fractured her leg.
Oh
Okay.
shit.
And basically, I'm going to tell you the very short version of this story because it could really get quite detailed. And I probably shouldn't even tell all the full details because it's not all technically over. But basically what had happened was I found out from the neighbor is that the previous renters who I had already known like made a mess. The cleaner said they'd never seen it that bad, blah, blah, blah. They had security called on them by the neighbor. The neighbor also told me that they drove their car, and I saw this later in the security video, behind the house, and were like drunk, blasting music, we're peeling out, and the gravel started getting thrown against the neighbor's house. She comes out and sees him peel out and hit one of the support posts to the deck.
Oh, Jesus.
With his car.
Oh.
And she was like, it didn't even enter my mind that he could have compromised the deck. I thought he just messed up his car.
Structural integrity.
Sidebar. Are your neighbors annoyed that you're having this house as a vacation property?
So one of them possibly, but also we're in a particular area that was a community that was created as a vacation community. So some neighbors definitely still are, especially because there was during certain economic downturns, people just used it as regular houses and bought houses there.
Right.
But others like are people that we hire. The electrician lives in the community that we hire. My cleaner lives in the community.
It's like a subdivision.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an HOA, but there's 1,600 homes in it. You know,
that's huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And over 10%, 20% are Airbnbs. So there's a lot of them. And
there's no law or stipulation against it in the HOA.
The law, there's every township has their own law. This township in particular doesn't allow it except for our HOA and another HOA that's in that township. Okay. And even our HOA is split between two different townships, one of which allows it for that HOA and the other which doesn't. So
God, sounds like a headache.
There's a lot of details to it.
So the first
So I was in to make it as quick as possible.
No, it's interesting.
I've been in a 2-year-long lawsuit.
But hold on, let me ask a question. So basically, you had people that were there. The birth girl that broke her leg.
Yeah,
they were not the people peeling out in the car and
they
shit.
didn't. They were absolute sweethearts and reacted to this in a way that's like. And these were like young kids in their 20s. And the neighbor even said she was like they were just sitting, eating. They were doing absolutely nothing wrong. And I mean, if somebody was under, we have swings underneath that deck. Somebody could have been swinging under there, and like my whole life trajectory would be different today. You know. And so
manslaughter charges.
And so the person that's
selling kidneys in the Dominican Republic.
And so the person that hit the deck, he actually trespassed. Also,
I've never heard somebody say hit the deck who actually hit the deck.
Well, it gets even crazier because his like every vehicle is supposed to be registered. His was not. So we actually thought it was a different vehicle. Took like 6 months to get this person.
I'm kind of lost here. Is this the guy that sprayed the gravel and hit the post?
Yeah.
So his car was not registered?
Yeah, meaning every car that goes into the community is supposed to be registered.
Oh, you don't mean like car registration?
Yeah, no. I mean registered as a renter. A registration rental agreement.
So this was a guest of a guest or what?
Yeah, exactly. So it like took time to even track down the driver, down. So he also had like bare minimum insurance. So it took me like 6 months to a year to get him added to the lawsuit as a co-defendant. Then he had like this bare minimum insurance.
So who's suing who at this juncture?
So the girl who injured herself is suing my insurance company.
Sure.
My insurance company rejected the claim because they found that I am not negligent because I had multiple I'm not negligent. I had to pass multiple inspections in order to rent it. Everything is legal. Everything is permitted. We're not fucking around.
So this is like an act of God kind of thing?
No, it's just an act of a fucking idiot who drove his car behind the deck and hit it with his car.
So your insurance company was saying to this girl, we're not going to give you any money because you are not liable.
Because as the property manager is not liable for
I see. She would have to sue the guy in the car.
Well, so they sued, basically they sue the path of least resistance. So initially they sued me because they're not trying to investigate and find out. They don't even know about this guy in the car.
Right.
So then I get the guy added through the lawyer my insurance company hired to the lawsuit. Finally, his motor vehicle insurance pays out like 15 grand because he had whatever's like the bare minimum coverage. And through a crazy set of circumstances that both lawyers were like, this is super unusual. This girl's own car insurance has an underinsured motorist policy, pay the rest of the sum because basically the lawyer is just going to sue whoever's most likely to pay and whoever is so this ended up being the path of least resistance. And so literally like 3 weeks ago I got a letter saying that they're going to drop me from the lawsuit because they got enough restitution from between this underinsured motorist policy and this guy. And that's one of we've had all sorts of fucking.
It's good that you didn't end up being on the. I would think you'd be on the hook because technically it's your deck. I mean,
it is my deck. Yeah.
Even though you were inspected, if something happened in between.
Yeah. Well, worst case
stays,
scenario,
but
and
that's good
not that
that-
it wasn't very stressful, and like literally other Airbnb owners were like freaked out in this community. Like word spread that
Oh, I
this
bet,
happened.
I
This
bet.
was like,
Mhm.
and this is within like, again, like 6 months of us owning the place. Like,
Oh.
and again, I've got like 5 other things that have happened in there that are not this insane, but like pretty ridiculous.
Now, when you get someone who do you have to okay, so if I see like a weekend that I want to just take this home, do you as the owner of the property, do you get to look and do I have some sort of a rating, or do you get to
Yeah,
like,
Airbnb has reviews.
okay, so my point is, I guess, like, can you look at somebody and be like, all right, you want to rent my place for the weekend, and are there like can I say to you, because I know it's very dicey with relation to like like ethnicity and that kind of thing. Like I can't look at it and be like, oh, this is a family reunion, I'm gonna have a bunch of black people in my house. Like, can you look at it and with can you deny something if somebody goes, we're having a bachelor party? Do they have to put the reason why they're renting the
Well,
place?
we have a no parties rule, and so if they tell us something that
God,
they're
what a
gonna,
bum, dude, you're buzzkill.
well, I've hosted friends' bachelor parties there,
Yeah.
and if somebody seems like they're reasonable and it's small, and
Mhm.
I use my best judgment.
Yeah.
I look at their reviews. You don't see their photos, so like theoretically, you can go by their name if you're trying
Okay,
to guess
right.
what their ethnicity
Reginald
is. That's how
Washington.
you wanna do it.
Profile. Yeah.
Reginald Washington.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but I'm saying, so basically, when you have a no party, how do you enforce that no party thing? Do I have to sign something?
Well,
like,
the one way that we are able to enforce it is that only registered guests. It's a gated community, so in order to get in, they give their name,
okay,
and so we make it very clear that any name that's not registered will not be allowed in. I have Ring cameras, so I can
Okay.
see if, like, first of all, the property can only fit a certain amount of cars in the driveway. The gate will only let in that amount of cars
Okay.
to see the property.
I see.
And so, like, in the end, can somebody really sneak in and do some shit that we don't want them to? Yeah. And I'm
Sure.
sure that they have. And I really don't care as long as I don't find out about it.
Right.
But like, just recently my cleaners texted me photos because somebody was smoking and literally set off smoke bombs at one of the properties.
What?
They actually didn't cause any damage, but I'm like, you know what? Like, charge them this for smoking inside the house because they're just fucking idiots,
Yeah, you can't. I had a friend of mine who was staying in a hotel room in Hollywood, and he smoked in his room, and they fucking banged him up for like $500.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I told him not to. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna get in trouble
They'll
for
get you on the incidentals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's a hotel room. The fucking windows don't even go up. You can't
Mhm.
smoke in that. Isn't it amazing how like everybody used to smoke, and now like
we
no-
used to hotbox the bathroom is how you did it.
Mhm.
what?
Not cigarette. I don't smoke cigarettes, but
Right.
we used to like take grips in the bathroom, and you would try to like blow out the smoke and flush the toilet at the same time.
That's what they
and
do in
run the
prison.
shower.
They use the to
The
pull
ducts.
the smoke out. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it creates like a vacuum.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Pruno
What
too.
they do in
That's
the
what we used-
joint. Oh,
in the
sure,
big
if you're
house.
making-
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, we used to
They
use
go toilet
bread,
wine.
orange, and sugar packets.
Oh,
Boy,
sure.
I made all my boyfriends the sweetest wine. I'd
Oh
have
yeah.
parties every Friday night. We'd make grilled cheeses by taking the bread and the Velveeta, putting it behind the radiator.
Oh.
By 7 hours later, you'd have yourself a good night and grilled
You
cheese
got
sandwich.
Quite a life you've lived.
Oh yeah, right. I would push out all the cum and all the white supremacists that made me lick out of my hand. Oh, good
It was hot.
times.
Now, they were
Sounds
white supremacists just with regards to cum.
Yeah, just right.
It
Exactly.
wasn't a race
No.
thing.
Oh
No.
yeah, it was. I let anybody
They
come
were,
my
they were
ass.
more like pearl
Yeah.
supremacists.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. All right. So now, all right. You okay with
Yep.
time?
No, we're all good. So
All right. That's okay. Listen, you got.
just,
I feel like you got a
taking
lot
quick
going on.
peek.
I'm impressed by how much irons you have in the fire here.
A lot happening.
So let's say
I can compartmentalize.
there are 365 days in a year.
Yeah.
Of those days, how many days are your Airbnb properties percentage or
Right.
occupied?
So I would say our busy seasons are summer and winter. During like 3 months of the summer, it's occupied basically every single day.
Okay.
During maybe 2 months of the winter, it's occupied nearly every day.
Is it like Camelback or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then the rest of the time, it's every weekend, and then plus some weekdays.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And look, it's all based on what price point you set. You set a low enough price point, every day is booked. It's just not necessarily worthwhile. And you don't want to set it too low because it also sets the type of guests that you have.
Right. You want to keep the riffraff out.
I mean, literally, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, Poconos, and please, I'm not shitting on it, but it's traditionally not like a high income vacation destination.
But we kind of got in at the right time because of COVID, people couldn't travel elsewhere, and a lot more people started renting it out. And also, like, one of the competitive advantages that we noticed was that a lot of the stuff you'd look at was like, it looked like your grandma's house being rented out for the weekend. And so if you have some design to it and you put in new appliances and you have
bumper pool.
No bumper pool.
All right.
Darn.
We got pools in the
No, I don't mean like swimming pools. I mean those fucking
bumper
pool table.
Oh, you're so cute. You're not
It's
born
like
in America,
bumper pool,
honey.
Octagonal or
Yeah,
what,
no,
what
it's like
shape
a
is it?
yeah,
we
it's
got
like an
we have
octagonal
pool tables.
Well, bumper
Yeah.
pool.
Billiards.
Well, yeah,
as we say.
Oh, you playing
Yeah.
snooker?
Bumper
Hello.
pool is like a little more white trash.
Yeah, bumper pool's like the
Yeah.
white trash. Like it's like a octagon table with has like bumpers. It's like a miniature golf pool.
Is it like
kind
a
of.
poker table?
No, it's octagonal.
Aren't some poker
A
tables?
lot
or
of
are they
times there
hexagonal?
will be a top you can put on, and
Yes.
it is a
Well,
poker
if you're doing
table.
really well, you can turn your bumper pool
Take it
table
up a notch.
into a card
Combination.
table. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's like a green felt with like little like stoppers like all over the felt.
Yeah,
So
no,
when-
we don't have one of those.
Well, you should invest in one of
It's
those.
something you'd win on The Price is Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something that would be in a showcase showdown.
It would come in a very depressing game room.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, be like that in like an Atari 5200.
Yeah, no, we got Simpsons arcades and shit like that.
Oh, no
You
shit,
got
really?
real arcade
Yeah.
games in there?
Arcade one up, man.
Nice.
There's fucking Walmart. Like, you know what I'm
so it's
talking
like
about?
One console and then it's got a bunch of
They
games.
they look great, like
Cool.
especially on the Airbnb listing, and it's like
Oh, dude.
the only thing is they're just a bitch to put together, but otherwise it's like
wow.
$350 for an arcade game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you write your own description?
Yeah, me or my brother or my wife.
Okay. Do you like, because you're a writer and you do comedy, do you try to make them funny?
No, definitely not. But I have been trying to work out some sort of like marketing materials that we could do.
Okay. Like come to the poke. You'll never know how much fun you have in the Poconos. Is that good? Something like that?
I don't know about that.
No, you don't.
Did I tell you about the time that I had
ahead.
friends that were a couple? They accidentally went to a swingers resort in Poconos.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good time. Did you imagine?
There's
accidentally?
what the
It's
fuck's
called
it
like
called? The pink something
something
the
cove.
pink castle or something. Oh,
It was like lover. It was like I'm like
I
you
know what
guys
you're
should have
talking
probably
about.
known it was a fucking.
I don't know if I knew it as a swingers place, but as soon as you said it, like that sounds like this place. There's a place.
You go on the website, it's just all pineapples. You're like, what the fuck did you think this was?
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
yeah. They're like, well, I'm sorry, this says to bring condoms and our own sheets.
Right.
Okay. I guess we're just gonna look at some leaf peeping. So hold on, your friend went to like some resort in Poconos.
Yes.
Beautiful Mount
Well, they
Airy
wanted to go
Lodge.
because there's a lot of those resorts that are very cheesy. You
Like
know, with
Rocking
the,
Horse
with like
is one
the
of them,
fucking,
right?
They're-
champagne glass.
Yeah,
hot tub and stuff.
yeah.
They're
So
building a
wanted to go to those.
Margaritaville.
Oh, is that
Oh,
right?
Yeah, it's a big talk of
Oh.
the town. There's a Margaritaville being developed.
There's one. Have you ever seen? There's the one in just like
I hate-
Midtown Manhattan.
I
Like,
hate
who
the
goes
baby-
to Margarita.
I hate the baby boomers so much. I
Yes.
swear to God, they are not going to die until the last of them is just holding on to this planet until they fucking ruined everything. I know you're right. They're doing the Margaritaville. They're all over.
There's one right in Manhattan. It's crazy. That
There's a
like,
Margaritaville in Manhattan.
Yes,
Yeah.
I walked by it the other day.
Wow.
It's a
I
hotel.
think it's near the W.
It's not even okay for those of you who are watching and listening, whatever it is. Times Square effectively stops 42nd Street, and anything south of that for like a block or two, it's on like 40th and
Mhm.
7th Avenue. So
Yeah.
it's new construction. It's a hotel. It's a Margaritaville hotel.
By the arcade, what's it called?
It's by the
uh,
Red Lobster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I mean,
You know,
But also,
right
what's
off
their,
for the Ruby
what's their
Tuesdays.
arcade thing?
Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's.
There you
But
go.
that's on
Yeah.
42nd Street.
Yeah.
That Dave and Buster's is on 42nd off of 8th Avenue. This is like south of Times Square. It's like 40th Street. So I guess it still is Times Square technically. I don't know what the zone is,
Right.
but it's like
Cut off.
Yeah, I mean, Margaret, there's one there. It's like a hotel, but I guess they also have timeshares there. So you can like, well, that's what the Margaritaville is, because there's a bunch of them in like
It's definitely the demographic that would fall for a timeshare.
well, it's like Daytona Beach. There's a Margaritaville,
Right.
like Port St. Lucie. You
I
know,
think
all
I
those-
saw one in Fort Lauderdale.
yeah.
I think
Oh yeah.
it sounds like
Yeah.
Checks out.
God, Jimmy
It
Buffett
tracks.
he had one fucking hit,
Right.
wasted away in Margaritaville.
Fucking A.
And
And
turned it into a goddamn empire.
Yeah, and he's like,
Sure did.
yeah.
What's stopping the rest of you?
Parrot
know.
heads.
He's like, yeah, it's like, and it's one thing to be like, what's your identity? I'm a 75-year-old alcoholic who wears flip flops.
Right.
You're now a billionaire. Like,
Sunblasted
Can't
alcoholic.
hate, you know?
all those like those tits with the freckles all on, like those freckly old lady tits with like the wrinkled skin
Oh,
on top.
yeah.
Yeah. just like
a lot of sun on the
Yeah.
Margaritaville beaches.
Yeah, like they see, it's like when you're white and you meet somebody that is also white, and they just get racist immediately. They're like, we love North Florida because down there you might as well just go to Cuba.
Oh my God, dude, that reminds me. So when we got that deck
there you go.
I deal with a lot of these contractors, and there was one in particular that I fucking loved. I showed up and immediately he's just like, "You from New York?" They got those Pakistanis protesting out. He meant Palestinians, by the way.
No, same
this
thing.
was when it was like is Palestine shit going on. And right away,
Israel and Pakistan.
And like, I don't even know this guy. Like, I hired the person who was his boss, and his boss is trying to like talk him up, and he's like, "Oh, he's actually like pretty legit. Like, he used to work in New Orleans, all places, and he was like, he used to work for NASA." And I was like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I work for NASA." And I was like, "Oh yeah." Like, those booster rockets? I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, the booster rockets on the outside of the rockets, the parts they use to build those rockets, I built the shelves that they keep those parts on.
That's so funny.
But it gets better.
Christ.
But it gets better. So right away, I'm like, "Oh, okay, you work for NASA."
Technically, it's NASA.
And he goes, and that was in New Orleans, and that was the Challenger.
Oh, I was gonna make a Challenger joke.
My God.
And he actually worked. And you think you want to distance yourself from the Challenger disaster as the show, like. Oh yeah, I was the the janitor at Columbine High School.
Yeah,
so
or maybe just don't mention the Challenger
part
when you're trying to make it sound like you're working for NASA.
Yeah,
he's like, "Bruno, between you and me, I knew that thing was not going to make it up into space."
Wow.
Yeah, that's really, that's really funny. He's like, they took all the little the teacher bones, and I made the caskets for the teacher bones. That is fucking crazy. Yeah, no, I just over the summer I spoke at a conference. Thank you very much in Scottsdale, Arizona. It was a one man show. I'm doing it. Brian. Not all angels have wings. But enough about me. But it was so funny because you're in Arizona, which is like it's like fucking Arizona. So like every single time I'd be in a Lyft or Uber or whatever, they'd be like, "Oh, you're from New York? Like, what'd you get the Biden jab?" And you're like, "What? Yeah, I sure. I don't know. Like what?
Ouchie.
I was going through my phone, and one of my Lyft drivers was this girl, and she was like this little skinny girl covered in tattoos, like neck tattoos and stuff. But she was kind of cute. I mean, I wasn't gonna fuck her or anything.
Suicide.
She was like. No, she was in Arizona. She was just like some desert rat. And she's driving me. And she was like, "Yeah, I want to be a private investigator. I'm going to night classes to be a private investigator." So at one point I was like, she was taking me to this strip club called the Highlighter. And my friend Paul, shout out Paul, you know who you are, was like, "Gotta go to the Highlighter." And so I was like, "All right, I'm just in this fucking resort way in Scottsdale." And I was like, I'm gonna go to the Highlighter. What else am I gonna do? I have an open night. I didn't have anything to do. So we were on my way there, and she goes, "You want to the Highlighter?" And she goes, "Tonight they do like it was like $9.99 steak and lobster night." And I was like, "Well, why don't you join me?" And she was like, "All right." So like we go to the Highlighter, and I was like, "You have any guns?" She goes, "Yeah." She's pulling these guns out. She's pulling out of the fucking glove compartment.
Put this lobster out of his misery.
All over the place, and then we go into the fucking Highlighter. She has 4 beers, and each my lobster. I smelled it. It smelled like ammonia. I was like, "I can't eat this. I'm sorry." I was like, "Excuse me, is this freshwater? Are these freshwater tails from South Africa?"
This just crawled out of her pussy.
This lobster has hairs and a string out of it. But pardon me, this lobster looks like cunt. Is this lobster cunt? But anyway, so she had 4 beers, and she was like, "All right, thanks, man. I'll see you later." And she just left. I was like,
I'll see you later.
Yeah. Wow. And then she was like, "Tomorrow night, I don't have my kid tomorrow night. Give me a call. I'll take you somewhere else."
Wow.
I know. Arizona's fun.
Yeah.
This is like nobody.
And you didn't call because you wanted her to bring the kid.
Yeah, I was like, "Bring the kid.
Yeah.
Can I fuck your kid with all these guns?" Hey, $500. Let's get your kid a neck tattoo. What do you say?
Yeah.
She's like, "It better be a swastika." I'm like, "Is there any other kind?" So, all right. I know we're going. Listen, we should check in for a second, right?
Let's check in with the folks, and then let's switch over.
All right.
You
Okay with your time?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, good.
Hello to Paul. Hello
What's up,
to
Paul?
Jimmy.
What's up, Jim?
Paul says, "Hey, it's been a while."
Hey, gorgeous. Look at that. Now, hold on. Are you saying other people on Facebook or on the
both,
YouTube?
Both.
Are we simultaneously?
Simulcasting.
We are.
Jimmy said Facebook. I'm watching on YouTube because you mentioned Facebook.
You son of a bitch.
We're simulcasting.
Wow.
We will have a better camera next week. Right now, we're using the inboard camera in the computer because we just got all this shit set up. And
that inbred camera.
Yeah, one of those inbred
Two
cameras.
Canons, fucking.
Yeah, it doesn't have its kids tonight. Hello to.
Hey, by the way,
who else? Sean.
What's up, Sean?
Sean says Friday Jew talk.
Yeah, Friday Jew talk.
I love as we were talking about how there's anti-Semitic people everywhere. Somebody says, they all know each other. Does he know Ari Shafir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Ari Shafir's Jewish? I had no
mind blown.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Brandon says it's a benefit for blind dogs.
Yes.
Ronan says greetings from Camden.
Hi, Ronan.
Wow. Let's see. Sean Max says Jew talk.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Well,
thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Listen, by the way, Patreon numbers have dipped a little bit. I don't like to see that.
Yeah, I know.
It's all right. We did a little bit there.
Dicks out, baby.
If you're watching the free show, Patreon is like 300 hours.
Well, now we got it up on the screen, so we got a little ticker on the bottom.
Okay, good.
So that says exactly where to go.
Listen, if you even know your name and you're not on Patreon, fun. What's a fun program here? Just I don't know. It's time for Patreon. That's my big thing because it's a lot of fun.
Quite a pitch.
And I know, right? I get embarrassed.
Ringtones. There's
ringtones.
There's video content.
There's
soundboard.
Bonus.
You got a soundboard?
Yeah, we do.
We don't have soundboard.
We go boom. Everybody's working for the weekend.
Yeah, a little juke dog.
Right. Sheik Heil.
We can do a soundboard.
Yeah, we can.
Lots of just all kinds of fun.
We have an OnlyFans account that's linked to the Patreon. So, because sometimes we get on stuff on Patreon, it's too dirty for Patreon.
Too bad for Patreon.
If you can imagine. So there's on the Patreon, there's me. I'm blowing Adam for 45 minutes.
Oh, Jimmy says Brian didn't smoke in the big house, but he did drop a pill pot.
Oh yeah. You ever spent time in prison?
I have not.
By the way, now are we on?
Can't say I've had the pleasure.
We'll
all right, listen, everybody, we're bouncing over to the Patreon. So goodbye, thank you. Ticker's on there. I don't know. Goodbye.
You want to plug your Twitter?
Yeah, Frank. Get in there.
Sure. At the Boris K. Follow me at the Boris K.
Look up Boris on all the bullshit because he's a very funny guy and he's doing the thing on Monday. So check him out.